to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Brianne and this is Diary of a Homemaker. Today we are back in the kitchen. I have a super delicious recipe for you all. I did not do a Sunday kitchen restock this week. We were busy outside trying to get all the garden beds situated before our first frost, and so I just did not have time to do that. But I did make these pear scones on Sunday and they are absolutely delicious. I had actually never made scones before and I had been wanting to try them for a very long time, and one of those things you just kept pushing off, and so I finally made them and they were, like I said, so good, and I really just wanted to share that with you all. One of the ways we really stretch our grocery budget is by cooking seasonally. So what that looks like is every season, spring, summer, fall, and winter, every season looks differently. So whatever's in season for that season, we either try to grow a lot of those things, preserve a lot of those things, and then cook using those things. So it really does help stretch our grocery budget a little bit further. And I am sharing some pears today. I really think pears are such an underrated fall fruit. I think apples and pumpkins really steal the show, but I really wanted to share this with you. Like I said, had never made scones before, and I'm never going to stop making them. They only require just a couple ingredients, and I've already gone ahead and pulled all of those out. So my oven is preheating and let's just get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and mix 2 3/4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I am using Redmond real salt for this. This is my favorite salt. I buy this in bulk from Azure Standard and it's delicious. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. And then the last of the dry ingredients is actually brown sugar. So I don't actually purchase brown sugar. I don't even keep it on my pantry shelf anymore. I just make it as I need it. And so I just use regular, this is organic cane sugar that I get from Azure Standard. And then I mix molasses. Now the bottle looks pretty bad, but it's delicious. I also get this from Azure. And I don't measure when it comes to brown sugar. I just kind of measure with the heart. And so we need 1/4 cup. So I'll just do a 1/4 cup of the sugar and then just a small dollop of the molasses, and that's going to give me brown sugar. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix all of these dry ingredients, and then we will go ahead and add the butter. If you guys can smell this already, that nutmeg just really gives it that fall flavor, and I love that. So this recipe calls for 1 stick of butter, and truly the trick with any kind of pastry is making sure that you're using a very cold butter whenever you're cooking with it. You don't want that butter to melt. You could even stick this in the freezer for just a couple minutes, and then that's really going to keep it cold. I did not do that today. We're just jumping right in, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, and then I will go ahead and cut it into little tiny cubes, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. So now that you have your butter cut up into those itty bitty pieces, you're just going to want to take your hands and you're just going to kind of smash all of this butter into those dry ingredients until it's a very crumbly texture. You want to work pretty quickly because the butter will start to melt with the warmth of your fingers. So this is the consistency you're looking for, something almost kind of sandy. There may still be some little bigger chunks of the butter, and that's totally fine. That's gonna help give you that really delicious flaky texture in your scone. So now that that's done, I am going to go ahead and just stick this in the fridge. That way some of this butter doesn't melt any further, and then we're going to go ahead and start mixing all of the wet ingredients, and then we'll get all of those combined. So for the wet ingredients, you're going to need 1 egg, 1 cup of milk or buttermilk, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and then 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. I don't ever measure my vanilla. Another one of those things you just kind of measure with the heart, but I do measure the maple syrup. This syrup is also from Azure Standard. You guys probably notice I purchase so many things from them. If you have not heard of them before, I do have a complete playlist of all of my Azure Standard hauls. I will be sure to link that in the description box below. And I'm just going to go ahead and just whisk this all together. You could do this in a bowl. I just chose to do it in a glass. And it smells so good. So you may or may not actually use all of this liquid. You are going to go by feel in your scone. When I made them on Sunday, I did not actually use all of it. I had probably 1/4 to 1/2 an inch in the bottom of the glass that I did not need. So I'm assuming it'll probably be that way this time. The easiest way to peel pears is to use a potato peeler. I find if I use a knife, I end up wasting a lot of the pear, and I don't love that. And then all of these peels will go to our chickens. Nothing goes to waste around here, and so those chickens will turn it into eggs for us. And it's a win for everybody. So you're just going to want to dice these up into small pieces. We are not trying to be perfect here. I really feel like this is part of the charm of home cooking, is not having the perfect pieces, the perfect anything. It's homemade and it's made with love and beauty in it. Let's go ahead and add these pears in, and then we'll just give them a good stir, kind of break up some of the chunks of pear. And then you're going to go ahead and start adding your wet ingredients. So I'm going to just start off with something like this. There's about 1 inch left. and then if I need to add it, I can. Once you add the liquid, you can't take any back. So I would much rather have to add a little bit more than try to compensate for extra flour and change up ratios, and this is just much easier. Definitely did not need that extra liquid at the bottom of the cup, and so I went ahead and I floured my surface really well. I need to go ahead and start laminating. So laminating is where you dump out your dough and you're just going to want to keep folding it over itself. So this is different than kneading. You are not trying to activate that gluten. You don't want that gluten activated. You are simply just trying to fold over the dough on top of itself, and that's going to give you those really pretty layered, flaky, cake-like scones. Once you have it laminated out into this circle, you're just going to want to go ahead and cut it into 8 sections. It's going to look something like this, and then we'll just get this arranged on our cookie sheet and get these in the oven. I hope you can see all of those beautiful chunks of pear. It's beautiful. So the scones are in the oven. They're going to cook at 400 for about 18 to 22 minutes. My oven tends to cook just a little bit hot, and so I will probably check them at 20 minutes and see how they're doing. And then if they need those extra couple minutes, I'll let them cook. And if they don't, then we'll go ahead and pull them. I do need to get started on the maple glaze, and it is so simple. You're just going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk, and then 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. I did add in just a pinch of cinnamon because why not? And it was super delicious. So I am gonna go ahead and do that today. And we're just gonna mix this in a bowl. I just have just a regular bowl. We're gonna mix it in here, and then you're gonna wanna make sure that you have a wide enough bowl that you can dip the entire top of the scone into. And so this one works perfectly, and I'll show you what this looks like. These have cooled for about 20 minutes now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and glaze them. I will go ahead and give this one last stir. And then you're just gonna take them and dip. Just like that. That is gonna wrap it up for today. I hope you do give these a try. Like I said, they are so delicious. We are going to be making these quite often, and I do think these would make a great thing to, again, be one of those like staple type recipes. I think we could definitely swap these pears out and use another type of fruit like peaches. I think peaches would be absolutely delicious. But I will let these go ahead and sit and drip for just a few minutes. And then whenever they are done, we're gonna eat one. So that is gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video. I am hoping to share more seasonal cooking with you all. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to consider subscribing to the channel or liking or commenting. That really does help push my videos out to like-minded people like ourselves. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.